All right. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Today we're going to break down something very, very interesting. Okay. Now, this is kind of a hidden symbolism of what Primal Sutra really stands for. And if you're interested, you can find out a lot more in terms of this transmission. Now, what I'm suggesting is that you check out my old video on this too. I had a masterclass called Think and Flow Rich. Okay, the 888 masterclass where I was exploring the spiritual and practical power of the number 888. Okay. And this was chosen as the Gematria for Primal Sutra. Okay. So 888 usually represents abundance, financial growth, synchronicity. If you see, notice it's three infinites. Correct? So it's linked to the divine number three, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Rama, Vishnu, Mahesh, etc., etc. Okay? And the cyclical flow of wealth and energy is related to this because money moves like seasons. So when you stay in harmony and avoid fear-based reactions, you actually start to magnetize. 8 also represents karma, harmony, and investment. Okay. So let me just share this with the tribe. Sharing it with Primal Sutra, sharing it with the adepts too. All right, cool. So let's start talking today in terms of what exactly this means, okay? So let's get pen here. Okay. So in Christian numerology, 888 is the numerical value of the name Jesus in Greek. Okay? So it's really a symbol of Christ consciousness and divine creation. Are we sensing this? Yes? Give me a thumbs up. In Taoism and in Zen, I see this as almost and I spoke about this in the other masterclass, but if you look at it like this, right? It's 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Circles, right? Now, the 0 point, or the enso, as I had described earlier, this symbol of 0, but it's almost not touching. There's a little break in that 0, right? Because it's usually written through calligraphy and so forth, and a lot of old texts and so forth. So this means that this is connecting to the unconditioned self, guys. Okay? The unconditioned self connects us to something that they call in Taoism as the uncarved block or original face. We had an original face, not this face that you have right now, but the original face is pure potentiality, unconditioned self before ego and social programming. Right? So this 0 point in the middle of the infinites is a portal for manifestation and timeline shifting. Okay, this is what we specialize in. We specialize in manifestation, timeline shifting, and flow state mastery. Okay, now true abundance comes from alignment with your true unconditioned self, not from chasing the moolah and lack. Okay, but spending in faith even when it stretches your budget. That signals more trust in the flow. Whereas you can see the losses and setbacks or debt that you have to pay back as you clearing space for a greater flow to emerge, emptying the cup, so to say. Okay. So there's a necessary delusion that fuels extraordinary success. And society often labels visionaries as crazy until they succeed. Then they stop calling them crazy and then they start praising them. Okay, this is a pattern that's been going on for years and years, centuries and centuries. Okay. So once we understand that the think and grow rich principles of, transmute sexual energy into creative power, build an alter ego that knows no failure, use mastermind alliances, music, strong emotions and affirmations and ask formations to program the subconscious mind and to blend thought with faith to tap into an infinite balance, an infinite intelligence. Okay. So wealth, like flow state, is accessed by dissolving ego, by aligning with higher consciousness, and holding bold delusional visions until they start to crystallize into reality. Okay? As you start to crystallize into this reality, you will start to notice the high level impact of this. Okay? So, what is Primal Sutra? Okay? Now, once you understand this, it's going to shift your understanding of what Primal Sutra actually means. Because a sutra, guys, is a thread technique. Okay. In Sanskrit, it's the filament that kind of holds pearls together, or the concise verse that strings teachings into a specific lineage. So the Primal Sutra is the first of all threads. So it's the seed line of creation itself. Okay. So before there were scriptures, before there were deities and gods, before there was even light, what was there? Vibration, primordial vibration, pre-conscious mind vibration. Now, the sages in India especially called it Shabda Brahma, sound as God, the sound as God. And the yogis heard it as the primordial Om. Okay. Am I doing the Om correctly, guys? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I think this is it. Primordial Om, right? The great cosmic syllable that rippled outward into galaxies, atoms, and breath. And if you notice, I've discovered this. This is a trippy thing, guys. Oh my goodness. So the vowel sounds, if we start to ohm like this is what differentiates our path working from a lot of others. Because usually people ohm as A-U-M, right? Aum, right? That's how they chant. But I've understood something very powerful, especially for our path working, that when we chant, to be able to tap into this higher intelligence or this light language, we need to emphasize the vowel sounds. So I was trying this yesterday, actually, and it created these amazing internal ripple effects for me. And I felt like I made myself into a conductor or like a broadcasting system or like kind of like a radio station, right? That I can change its dial. Okay. So I okay. Feel that. Understand that. This is going to make you perceive light language. This is going to make you tap into this other realm. And this was a discovery. Okay. So the first pulse wasn't spoken in human language, guys. It was a pure, unbroken resonance. The divine made sound. The divine will made sound. Okay. So the divine will made sound is the Om. This is the first impulse, the very heartbeat of the universe, the place where thought, sound, and form are still connected and one. So why is it primal? What does primal mean? Before all else. Okay? So primal means before all else. It's the raw, undiluted origin point, yet not conditioned by religion, culture, or ego. It's the state that the mystic touches in samadhi, the musician in perfect improvisation, and the lover in total union. So how do we go from Om or I, right, to Sutra? Well, the Om expands, and then suddenly the first sutra is formed. A thread of continuity connecting the infinite to the finite. So that means every scripture, every law of physics, every heartbeat, every breath is a variation on that before all else primal line of coding. Are we getting this, guys? So when you work with Primal Sutra, you're tuning yourself back to source code. You are aligning your life with the original instruction, right? Not the broken telephone of history. You become the conscious extension of that first vibration. So, in short, to summarize, Primal Sutra is the Om before the echo. It is the first instruction in the universe's OS, operating system. And when you remember it, you stop living in the simulation and you start co-writing the simulation like a script writer, right? So 888 is seen as the divine perfection, eternity, and the fullness of Christ. I found this out actually the other day as I was reflecting and thinking of, is there any reference in the Bible to 888? And then I found the Greek name is Jesus of Jesus in Greek. It has the numerical value of 888, right? So in this is in Sumerian Gematria, okay? Not because my name is Sumed, just cause, fam. You know, this is a movement. It's not all related to me, okay? But I found certain words in Gematria, okay? What is Gematria first and foremost? Okay. Gematria is an ancient alphanumeric code system where letters have numbers. Okay? So in Hebrew, Greek, and later Latin, letters were the numbers, correct? There was no separate numeral system like this. That meant that every word, phrase, or name carried a number. And what is a number? It's a hidden frequency signature. So ancient sages believed numbers weren't just quantities, they were qualities of energy, archetypes of creation. So gematria is actually a very secret language in Judaism and the Kabbalah and Christianity, Gnostic and patristic writings, in Islam and the Abjad system. Gematria was used to reveal hidden meanings in scripture. So that means that two words with the same numeric value were seen as linked by destiny, like two rivers flowing from the same source. And this allowed initiates to speak in veiled references, hiding deep truths from the uninitiated. Okay. I remember once we had a Poseidon channeling, which is very powerful. And if you guys don't are unfamiliar with this, Neptune is also Poseidon, technically, right? So he said something like, our fantasies serve as safe harbors for the mind. We also use Phantomos, shout out to him and many other guides we work with. But fantasies are basically the Neptunian realm, helping to dissolve the ego and return us to the uncarved block original face, from which abundance and flow arise naturally. Okay? So think of this like this gematria system has an ability to crack the matrix wide open, guys. Think of reality if it really was a cosmic OS, a cosmic operating system. And you understand we're not following this harmonic code of just ones and zeros, but it's written in archetypes, in numbers, in vibrations, right? And gematria is one way to read that code. So when you run a name, a phrase, or a concept through gematria, you're essentially scanning for its energetic blueprint in the greater pattern. Okay? So that means synchronicities appear when a number matches others with related meanings, revealing kind of a hidden script, right? A storyline, a narrative of the cosmos, revealing hidden connections that the conscious mind of yours could never see. So let me just try some of these words just to double check. Because I was finding a few of the Sumerian gematria 888 connections and how it was connected to this. Um, let's see here. Okay, so before we get into this, let's talk about practical uses of this in the matrix, right? And so there's synchronicity mapping, obviously, tracking the repeated numbers in your life that you see what words, names, and things match them. You can use it like this, and you'll start noticing narrative threads that you didn't consciously weave. You can even put in your name, your full name, right, and see what are the things that are coming up. Or you can ask ChatGPT, or you can use gematrix.org or whatever. That's what the one that we usually use. So yeah, you can use these ancient texts and understand they often hide keys and numbers, prophecy, wordplay, coded messages, for example, 666 in Revelation isn't random. It's a gematria cipher for a political figure. So if numbers carry energy, matching your intent with the right numeric frequencies, like tuning a radio station, right, to the exact station, tuning a radio to the exact station that you want, right? So I found out some words. I'm going to just double check these guys just in case. Yep. So in the English gematria, it equals 888. Amazing. Okay, let me just make a list of these so you guys understand. Primal Sutra is 888. Lotus Magus is also 888. Now, lotus, of course, relates to lotus-born master. You know, the lotuses can grow in the mud, so we can thrive in the chaos, right? This is a very powerful understanding. Padmasambhava is one of my main higher chakra guides, you could say, and I'm very connected to his teachings, and I do his 7-line prayer every day. Okay. And of course, my favorite mantra ever is the Padmasambhava mantra. Okay. Very powerful and high vibrational. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, it's really, really, really key, right? Some of the other ones, which are quite interesting that I found, is gospel tantra, right? What in the world is that, right? Or golden ratio, okay? Now, the cool ones that I found, I'm actually maybe gonna get someone to um hold on, guys. Someone's calling me. 1 second. Thank you for your patience. Okay. So Primal Sutra is there, the core brand, you know, first teaching, cosmic thread. Then we have Divine Matrix. These are all 888, guys. Okay. And these are codes that we're starting to understand. Now, this is a hidden reality code that we're revealing. Then we have Christ Logos, the archetypal word or the mind of God. Then we have, you guys are going to trip, Sacred Temple. Okay. Then we also have, and this is probably a reason why we're so connected to this path, is Violet Flame. Okay. Violet Flame is obviously the from Saint Germain, the alchemical transmutation and karmic cleansing. Okay. And this is the archetype also of the perfected world, because words like New Jerusalem, Grail Code, okay, Solar Logos, the Sun as Christ principle, the life-giving consciousness, right? Cosmic Christ. These words are also linked up to Primal Sutra, including, oh man, these are wild ones, okay? We're the wild ones. Great movie, by the way. Crater Hermes, okay? We work a lot with Hermes. Then we have Caduceus Temple, okay? Then we have Ark Sephiroth, okay? SLW, I think you were talking about the Ark, right? Noah's Ark and so forth and that code. I think it's related, okay? Next, we have Alchemy Code Gabriel, okay? Then we have, Ryan G, you're going to trip, Solomon Dharma, Shiva Osiris, Shadow Confidence, Presence Ratio. Isn't this amazing, guys? Hey there, babe. Thank you so much for tuning in. So all of these words are related to 888 and Primal Sutra. How wild is that? Right? And we keep seeing cats everywhere. Why is this happening? Because the Lyrans, right? The Lyrans in the Starseed family are the mythic blueprint of what Primal Sutra calls that first impulse, the vibration before all else, right? They were the original conscious pattern that seeded both the human form and the spiritual codes we work with today. So of course I watched this video on like the House of Arakan. I posted it to the adepts, okay? And the Sky King Zarion and his unifying vision to the Valorous dynasty and all this kind of cool stuff going on. And they actually aligned very well with Primal Sutra principles. So this is like a next level up as I'm allowed to share these teachings with you guys, but also I'm learning as I'm going and growing, right, with you guys. So this is an unbelievable process. And so the first teaching is that, well, Lyrans are the humanity's cosmic atom, right? The original human archetype, because their feline traits are reminders of the instinctive elegance and primal power. So just as Lyran bloodlines spread across the galaxy, Primal Sutra teaches that your essence threads through multiple realms and timelines. So the Lyran way balanced the warrior monarchies, Arakan, Taikar, with mystical orders, Valoris and Kailor. So this mirrors Primal Sutra's fusion of embodied sovereignty and spiritual mastery. Lyrans, if you don't know, have a very feline face, okay? They often look like tigers or lions or other big cats, right? So the Lyran's energy signature is dynamic, witty, and spontaneous, or deeply hermetic. It mirrors the spectrum Primal Sutra trains you to command, from this restless creative force to still point awareness. So from that story that you might watch from Princess Ilaria's, cosmic dance to the crystalline cities and the living architecture and all of that, they wielded beauty and art as a tool for influence and defense. Isn't that powerful? And isn't that also related kind of to the Venus codes, right? So just as modern humans still carry Lyran genetics, Primal Sutra's work is kind of a starseed awakening. It's reclaiming those dormant codes of clarity, leadership, and multidimensional perception. So in other words, the Lyrans were the architects of the Galactic Human Project. Okay? Let me share an imagery with you guys just so you guys can get how they look like. Okay. Ellie, maybe this is the white cat you saw me with. Okay, or whatever. You were telling me about that. Um, let's see. Where did I post this? Yep, found it. Okay. So just a random example. I just want to give you guys an imagery so you guys understand if you're very new to this and you're kind of overwhelmed by this, tsunami of information. I understand. Okay. Take it easy. You don't have to understand everything right away. Okay. This is for advanced adepts. Okay. So Primal Sutra is the living continuation of the design, stripped of political empire, returning to the raw sutra or the thread of the original teaching. It's the same feline grace and sovereign focus reborn in a human's hands. So this work is tied to the same archetypal frequency associated with logos, guys, the divine word. So that means the counterpart to 666, which is transcending the ego material trap in the realm of the infinite renewal. Right? So it's a numerical seal suggesting that your mission's core vibration, right, in Primal Sutra is in line with unity, healing, and resurrection energies, right? So it's saying Primal Sutra is a teaching that carries the resurrection or eternal renewal current. Venus, check this out, guys. Venus has an 8-year cycle. Okay? This is blowing some people's minds because we've been going into this for a while now, and now all the pieces are connecting. Venus has an 8-year cycle that creates a perfect pentagram in the sky, an ancient Christ-Venus link of love and harmony. In Hebrew, Messiah has gematria links to multiples of 8s. In some Kabbalistic schools, 8 is the gates between worlds. And in a musical octave, 8 notes, right, return to the same pitch. 8 hertz per second is also the flow state frequency, the alpha theta bridge, okay? So this 888 is the triple octave meaning transcendence, okay? Meaning transcendence in all three worlds: physical, psychic, and spiritual. It's a seal of alignment with the resurrection principle. It's a mythic positioning as a bringer of the eighth day teachings. And it's an encoded mission to awaken the Buddha nature, the Christ consciousness, the Logos in others. Whatever name we give it, right? We just call it flow state mastery. So a triple emphasis on eight is the perfect mastery of all path of body, speech, and mind in Buddhism too. And in Chinese culture, eight is the luckiest number. It sounds like fa. Fa meaning wealth, prosperity, flourishing. So tripling it supercharges the luck, which is why it's used in business names, license plates, phone numbers to attract more fortune. And in feng shui, triplicate numbers always amplify energy, as far as I know, right? I'm not like a genius in feng shui or whatever, but I do know the triplicate numbers in their path is almost like an energetic gold seal, right? So 888 is an energetic gold seal for abundance in the smooth flow of chi or ki. Okay. So 8 is also linked to Ashtalakshmi, the 8 forms of the goddess Lakshmi, right? Each representing a type of wealth. So material, spiritual, agricultural knowledge, etc. Right? And the triple eight could symbolize all forms of wealth being manifested in all three worlds: the Bhuloka, the earth, right? The Antariksha, which is the astral, and Swarga, which is the heaven. Now listen here, guys. Krishna, okay? Krishna is often associated with the number 8. Why? Because he's the 8th avatar of Vishnu and born on the 8th day of the lunar month. 888 could symbolically triple his divine, playful preserver energy. In Kabbalah, 8 means beyond nature. 7 is creation. 8 is the dimension beyond creation. So while 888 isn't a codified symbol, right, in Hebrew tradition, the triple eight does point to absolute transcendence in all three soul levels: nefesh, the body; ruach, the spirit; and neshama, the divine soul. So how it feels when all of this clicks, man, that's when it really resonated with me. It's like spotting a glitch in the matrix, right? You just take a little peek at the source code and you understand this game isn't random, man. It's all patterns, right? So patterned, coming from the word pater, which means father. It's all father, right? Shout out All Father Odin, okay? And once you can read that pattern, you start writing into it. Same as the word divine matrix. Literally, it's the same kind of hidden code of reality idea that I've been talking about. Okay? So how interesting is this that we see all of these interesting emphasis on the body being the altar, the golden ratio, which is like the signature of God, you could say. It's nature's proportion, the spiral of shells, the pattern of galaxies. The violet flame is the one that, where the impurities must burn away. The Grail code is knowing that the Holy Grail is not an object, but the realization of your own perfected essence. And also, you realize you are the code. And once you realize you are the code, you become a living transmitter of that 888 energy. Okay? Hey there, Andrea. About to wrap up the live, but if you guys have any questions on this matter, okay, definitely let me know right now, because this is a very, very interesting topic. And I've been really considering making this video for a bit, but I never had the right coordinates, you could say, right? The divine coordinates to actually share this with you guys. But I think it's very, very powerful and interesting once we get into this, okay? Now, what do some of these, connections mean for me? You might be thinking, okay, what does this have to do with me? Okay, you just talked about Primal Sutra a lot. What does this have to do with me? Okay, well, let me tell you this. Are you familiar with any of these words? And do they speak to you? Do you recognize that there is something going on behind the scenes that allows me to see and perceive through the noise? Can I become the uncarved block in my own life? Right? Can I be the vibration before all else and remain there in that zero? Okay? This is a very powerful thing to understand because without that being the middle path, we could easily drop into a complete delusion or a complete materialism. This is not what we're about. We're remaining connected to the teachings. Okay? And when you remain connected to the teachings, then you understand this vibration energy. And when you start oming every day, okay, ideal number is 21 times, but you can do it however many you want to. 21 ohms a day in this format. So you're saying all the vowel words with the ohm to create this broadcasting tower, right? And if you do the Primal Sutra mudra, which is like this, so let me just show you that to end with, so you guys can tap in yourselves. Even if you're not in this path working, this will be very useful for you. So this is the Garuda mudra, like this, okay? So thumbs interlocked like this, just like this. And the Naga mudra, thumbs touching like this, the snake. The eagle and the snake is what? The dragon. The dragon is what? The diamond, the truth, right? It's just truth frequency. It goes into many different ways, right? It goes into hell, it goes into heaven, it flies around many different cultures and pantheons, right? So we will understand the energy of truth with the energy of that dragon. Now, if you just practice doing this and doing this, doing this and doing this, okay? So you gotta have to find your own rhythm with this. And once you do, you'll start to notice there's a clear channel of divine light coming in through your crown, through all of your chakra points. Because you're finding your center, you're creating a neutral set point for you. You're creating a baseline for you. So anytime you feel stuck and you want to call upon the Primal Sutra Nexus, you do this, okay? It's a very powerful practice. And also, yeah, at a minimum, at a very, very minimum, if you do just 21 ohms a day using the vowel sounds, and you do this mudra for just maybe a minute, you will start to notice the shift of this collective's energy really helping you in the flow state deities and energies that we're connected to will actually start to assist some of your soul's mission. Okay, which is very powerful actually to understand that. So very, very powerful, guys. Thank you so much for tapping in. I hope you enjoyed this live stream today. And I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. All right, let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang. I will actually post a video right now because I forgot to post yesterday. So check that out as well. Okay, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, guys. Peace and love. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Osa. Let's win.